An eye-opening report on extremism and hate crimes, and ABC Action News got early access to the study.
This is all part of our ongoing series, State of Hate. The key finding, a 71% increase in extremist incidents in Florida from 2020 to 2021.
And that's not all either. Kylie McGivern has been digging through pages of these documents all day long since we first received them this morning. She joins us now from the newsroom with more on what she found. Kylie?
Well, Wendy and Jameson, this surge in extremist-related incidents is something the ADL attributes in part to widespread disinformation and conspiracy theories, leading to an increase in white supremacist activity and violence and a spike in hate crimes in Florida.
What we've seen really in Florida is a really rapid growth of an overlapping white supremacist network that we've been following for the last couple of years.
ADL investigative researcher Ben Popp tells the I-Team those collaborative efforts in Florida have led to what he calls an unprecedented growth in hate incidents.
Looking at the numbers from 2019 and early 2020, these groups were responsible for very few incidents, if none at all. And then as we moved into 2021 and now 2022, they've really exploded. We have seen a large number of incidents in the Tampa area.
From January 2020 to August of this year, ADL has recorded more than 400 instances of white supremacist propaganda distribution in Florida. In that time, new groups have also formed.
We can't combat extremism in our community if we don't know the exact threat that we face. So any nuance that we can dive into in examining groups, ideologies, and events is something that is always worth doing.
Looking to the January 6th insurrection, connections to Florida are significant.
Florida is still the #1 state in terms of the number of individuals that are charged in relation to the January 6th insurrection. And as well as just the sheer number of individuals, there are also pretty important networks in Florida that contributed to the insurrection. We saw a group of Oath Keepers that operated in a military stack style formation at January 6th, and that group originated in Florida.
So far, more people have been charged in Florida related to January 6th than any other state. Of the 90 individuals in Florida, the highest concentration, Pinellas County, where 11 people have been charged. If someone is sitting at home thinking, well, I don't have that ideology, I don't believe in that, what kind of impact are these groups having?
We know from history that oftentimes violent historical events are often preceded by hateful rhetoric, right? And the normalization of this type of hateful rhetoric. And so the work we're doing here in Florida and nationwide with the Anti-Defamation League is really aimed around stopping and intercepting this hateful rhetoric now so that it doesn't escalate to violence in the future.
And it's obviously concerning to hear that Florida is a hotbed for January 6th insurrectionists. But as we dug through that report even further, we found there's also been a troubling rise of anti-Semitic incidents all across the state. Since 2017, there's been at least 75 of these incidents in Florida per year. You can see the real rapid increases happened in 2020 and 2021, however, with 127 and 190 incidents respectively. The only states that had more reported incidents last year were New York and California.
So we've covered the prevalence of extremism and white supremacist groups across Florida. But what happens when these people are arrested and then charged? Earlier today, I interviewed a civil rights attorney who's defended several suspects accused of hate crimes. He told me oftentimes there's video evidence of the incident, or the suspect actually self-publishes the act to brag about what he did. And there's a reason for that.
People deploy this sort of hate rhetoric, and it bonds really well with people that don't have a good sense of self-identity, and then it turns out giving them a purpose. And that's what's so painful, is that when I get to know my clients, we actually see that the people that are perpetrating this hate and violence are actually pretty lost and rudderless.
Meanwhile, Michael Maddox has been practicing law for over 30 years, and he warns if you are a victim of a hate crime or a witness, safely record whatever evidence you can and turn it over to law enforcement, because that video will be crucial to arresting a suspect.
So we've laid it all out for you, and Kylie is back with us now. And really the question at this point is, where do we go from here?
So here's where we go. The ADL has 5 main recommendations for combating extremism. 1, condemning hatred, saying elected officials and community leaders must do their part to ensure extremism is never acceptable. Other recommendations include pass and enforce anti-hate legislation, protect free and fair elections, disrupt hate and extremism through appropriate law enforcement, meaning officers must receive training on how to recognize and document hate crimes, and a recommendation to prioritize anti-bias and Holocaust education.